Giving all praise and glory to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Kakadash, double honor to the elders of GMS. Also, salutations to all the Akim out there that's pushing this truth, and also shalom to the rest of the hopeful elect. And I have this on the screen, or it's an update on the American dollar. Matter of fact, and I'm going to title this, the dollar is falling in real time, or crashing in real time, either one. All right. So let's read some of this. Oh yeah, and that's why you see the prices of gold and silver going up. Right now, silver is at what, $85. It hit 120 this week, earlier this week. Then it collapsed at a major, like a 60% pullback, right? Which this is still high from what it's been from let's just say from the past year. All right. I remember when silver was just $20. All right, $20 to $30, and now it's 85. All right, and that's because what, the dollar is crashing and people are going into these precious metals. Hey, even copper is up. Let's see, price of copper. Let's look that up. See, so let's do a 6 month. So you do from a 6 month, copper was only 444. You see? No, it was, yeah. 444 when you go into, no, 435 when you go all the way back. Right? So now it's what? Almost $6. Okay? So all these precious metals are up because what? People are getting away from the dollar. All right, because it's about to crash, and they're going into these metals because it's real money. All right, now back to the dollar. It says, as of January 30th, 2026, the U.S. dollar has indeed experienced significant downward pressure, with reports indicating it has fallen to its lowest level in 4 years. This decline is a part of a broader trend, with the dollar falling roughly 2% in the first few weeks in 2026. So look, so this is almost the lowest that has ever been, or close about it, or close to about its lowest. All right, but from the looks, it's going to keep on crashing. All right, because they want to get rid of the paper money. All right, so they can usher in the B system. All right, the RFID microchip. All right, and remember, all right, I always say this, us in Great Millstone told you that this was going to happen. All right, but things like this have to take place. All right, the decline of the dollar. All right, it says the first few weeks of 2026 following a near 10% drop in 2025. Key drivers of recent sharp decline include tariff threats, right? And that's why the economy is in, word I want to use, turbulence right now, right? Very, very shaky, all right? Because Trump just throwing tariffs on every damn country. Then it says pressure of the Federal Reserve, right? It says the administration public encouragement of a weaker dollar. By what? Cutting the rates. It says the pressure of the Fed to cut interest rates have accelerated the sell-off. So people are getting away from the dollar. They're taking that dollar and they're like, hey, we're going to put it in the oil, we're going to put it in the precious metals, or we're going to put it into digital assets, all right, like cryptocurrency. So the more people let go of the dollar, guess what? The more the dollar is going to sink, right? And then people are just not using the petrodollar, which is the American dollar, for oil anymore either, all right? They're using the yen, all right, or the rubio, And you have it, you got the thing, BRICS, all right? Where you got all these nations, coming together, all right? And America's not part of BRICS, all right? And they're basically forming their own currency to it, buy oil with, all right? They're getting away from America, and they're getting away from that American dollar, okay? The basement trade concerns investors are hedging against further weakness, with some shifting capital into assets like gold, see, or what? Silver. All right, potential government shutdowns, or like I say, fiscal fiscal uncertainty, potential government shutdowns, concerns about the national debt levels have added to volatility. All right. Now, I was dealing with Chat GPT. All right. Now, I asked Chat GPT to compare the denarius to the American dollar. Right. And it says, of course, they always look up biblical things on it. So we go right into biblical things. It says, oh, this is good economics plus Bible world. Let's break it down simple and clean. You're basically asking what was a Roman denarius worth back then compared to the US dollar. Short answer, one denarius, one full day wage for a common worker. So the better comparison is today of pay, not to a dollar bill. So yeah, one denarius can, feed your whole household and get you other things. All right, one denarius was worth, if I'm not mistaken, 95% silver, right? But the way you can compare the denarius with the American dollar or to it is how they're both went on a decline, right? It got to the point that it got to the point that the denarius was only like 2 or 3% silver. All right, it went from 95 to 3% silver. All right, so it had all other kind of metals on it, in it. All right, it wasn't even really silver at that point. So the same thing with the American dollar, right? It was supposed to be backed up by silver, all right, but guess what? They took their hedge away from it. And guess what? They started printing out more and more money. Same thing with this with the denarius. They made more and more denarius. So guess what? With inferior metals. Okay. So the same thing with the American dollar. So that's the way that you can compare it. All right. On the way that they collapsed. One denarius equal one full day's wage for a common worker. So the better comparison is to a day of pay, not to a dollar bill. So they said that the hell with the damn dollar bill. Okay, they said, look, one full wage for a common worker. Hey man, you can live off that. You can live off one denarius. Probably off a couple days. Then it goes into it. I'm not gonna read that one. Uh, this I'll read some of it though. Say it was a Roman silver coin. Some about the denarius, standard daily pay for a laborer or a soldier. Now, what it says, converting that today, let's compare by earning. Let's compare by earning power, not metal value. One denarius equal one day of labor, right? Which means, hey man, that was a lot of money back then. All right, one day of wages. It says, no, it says then the first century, one denarius equal one day of labor. Cover basic food, not luxury money, survival level income. Now the U.S. one day of wages for a worker covers basic living expensive, not rich money, working class daily income. All right. Let's see. Depends on the worker, but roughly the type of worker. Minimum wage 15/8 an hour, 120. Modern. Now listen to this. Now modern day, all right, the denarius be worth from 100 to one denarius 100 to $150, probably more. All right, that's how they got paid. A skilled worker, right? Uh, daily pay 180 to 250. One denarius, 200 plus bucks. All right. But anyways, now let's go to. Oh, so it even goes into it. Matter of fact, let's go to Revelation since chat is going to pull that up. Revelations 6. I'm going to read it from here first before I go to that. It says 6 and 5. And when he had opened a third seal, I heard the third beast say, "Come and see." And beheld, and lo, a black horse, and he that sat on him had a pair of balances in his hand. And I heard a voice in the midst of the four beasts say, "A measure of wheat for a penny, and 3 measures of barley for a penny." Right? And that's talking about what? Hyperinflation. All right? That's why when you go into the book of Esdras, right, it mentions, people being or being thinking. No, it mentioned people being in a good case. Matter of fact, let's just grab it. But the reason people was in a good case is because the dollar was once doing good, or the modern day denarius was once doing good. Okay. This is 2 Ezra 16 and 20. Behold, vitriol shall be so good cheap upon the earth, that they shall think themselves to be in a good case, right? But guess what? That's not the case anymore. Now everything is high. All right. That's that inflation, what the scriptures is talking about. Behold, vitriol shall be so good cheap upon the earth, they shall think themselves to be in a good case, right? Because I'll just say here, even 5 years it wasn't even like this, right? Things was cheaper 5 years ago. It says, "And even shall evils grow upon the earth, sword, famine, and great confusion." That is taking place right now. The sword, famine, and great confusion, man. All right. And now things are not cheap anymore. Now you're not in a good case. Even things at the dollar store, all right, is high now, or they're going up on prices, right? So Revelations, matter of fact, hold on. And let me, because when you go into that Revelations, right, where it mentions pennies, we mention the word penny. All right, show you what word is there for it, because this is the money back then. All right, denarian, you see, or denarius.
Strong's G 1220. Denarian. Denarian.
Or denaria. All right, it says a Roman silver coin in the New Testament time. It took its name from being equal to 10 asses, or 10 donkeys. A number at the 217 BC increased to 16, about 3.898 grams, or 0.1375 ounce. It was principal silver coin of the Roman Empire. All right. And like I was saying, that coin was worth it was worth way more money, as I was showing you earlier. All right, when they was showing what's that in dollars. All right. See, type of worker, skilled labor. So 120 modern day equivalent, 1 denarius. So denarius, man, you lived pretty good, man. You lived pretty good. Imagine if you had 100 denarius, Matter of fact, no, we ain't gonna go into that. All right, so let's go into what chat went into. It says a measure of wheat for a denarius. That's saying a whole day's pay only buy enough food for one person. See, back then that took care of your whole family. 1 denarius took care of your whole family. That's an economic collapse. Food pricing, not normal times. It's like saying today you've worked all day and you can only afford groceries for yourself and not your family. That's scarcity plus inflation plus hardship. You see? Let me see. What about the silver count? A denarius had 3.8 silver grams of silver. Today's silver value, what matters most, but milk value much less than a day's wage. So its true value was economic, not metal. Then it goes into it. A denarius is not like a $1 bill. It's more like today's one full paycheck for an average worker. You see? So one denarius, and that's true, because let me see, a whole ounce of denarius. Well, hell, silver was just at 120. It was just at 120. So imagine if you had two denarius, you know? That's 240. It says, so when the scripture talks about the narrow, think labor, survival, daily provision, not spare change. Look at that. All right. Look at that. Let's go. I think I had some more information somewhere. All right. I guess we can read this too. The Roman denarius declined from a 98% coin 2nd century to less than 5% by the 3rd century. All right, that's taking place right now. All right, like I said, you can compare that to what, the American dollar. All right, 3rd century AD, due to the systematic government debasement, fueled massive inflation and economic stability. Emperors reduced silver content to finance, military, and administrative and social costs without raising taxes, leading to the loss of public confidence, eventually replacement of the denarius. And that's what's taking place now. Anybody that have any kind of head on their shoulder, all right, already been buying silver and is buying silver now. Okay, so let's go back. Let me see. Looked at that. All right, I don't really have to touch this right there. Okay. So with that, hey, I hope you was edified, giving all praise and glory to Yahweh, by Hashem Yahushai, by Hashem Rakakadash. Double honors to the elders of GMS. Also salutations to all the Akim out there that's pushing the truth, and also shalom to the rest of the hopeful elect. Peace.